Um, we are a group of 4 girls, and in our group we had to create a film opening for any genre you want to pick. So we picked action genre, and we decided to make our film opening about a boxer called Jude who goes through like a terrible past. So we start to show in our film opening of Jude, a female character, walking towards the ring, getting ready for the match, and we show flashbacks, and we just show how her past and how her mother used to drink and abuse her, and basically how she went through her childhood in like she didn't have a good childhood. And so we started to show how also her father died, and because her father died, her mother got addicted to alcohol and cigarettes and yeah, stuff like that. So in our film opening, we decided to have narration. Normally, most film openings that we've seen, that we analyzed, like Southpaw, Memento, or Private Ryan, none of them had narrations. And those are action films, action genre films. None of them had narrations. So we went against the film conventions, and we decided to have a narration where the main character, Jude, the female boxer, just talks about how she felt about her past and what she was going through, and how her mother got addicted, and how her father died, and how she was in the darkness, and she came out of it because of her growing passion for boxing. And this gives the audience more sense to what's happening, because if we just had the film opening without any dialogue, nothing, it didn't make any sense. So we decided to have her speaking about it, and it brought the film to life. It brought like all the visuals to life. It made more sense. Also brings a lot of emotion and captures the audience to like they want to find out what's gonna happen next. What's the mother gonna do? How is she gonna move on? And this is, as I said, not common in film openings. And what we did was we basically gave out a lot of information, so that they're already from the beginning of the film, like film opening, they'd already be like interested and wanting to find out more. And then for sound, we had diegetic sound, which was just a bit of dialogue of the mother screaming quotes like you're just like your father. And we had non-diegetics music. So we had music. So music was probably the hardest part, because before we put in music, it was the visuals, like the film, it was really silent, and we didn't like the silence. So we decided to bring music in, and it was hard to find the right music, because we didn't want something so fast-paced, but we didn't want something too slow. We want something just right, and to build up the tension, but not too much, so that it wouldn't seem like a trailer, because we've tried many different musics, and we found out that some of them, the ones that build up the tension, made it feel more like a trailer. And so that was probably one of the hardest parts. But the music did bring the film to life a lot, and we used some Foley sounds. So for one part of the film opening, like the beginning, we had the boxing punching bags. So the punching bags started to swing, and we have the sound of the chains there, and we actually recorded that separately from the film. So we recorded the sound plus the visual, and then we put it together, so it was a Foley sound that we recorded. The only film opening that we had a similar background to was the Thor film in 2011, and they both have narration. They both tell a quick like summary of the story, and basically what happened before the present. And so that's the only thing that was similar to our film. Well, we actually went against all convention. We went against this convention, and other action films don't actually really have narration in film openings. It's really rare to find something like that. For camera, we followed the film conventions, and we tried to use a variety of shots, from high angle to pan to point of view, and in most of the action films that I've analyzed, I found that they had like many close-ups on the face, whilst we decided to actually not show the face of the main character because we want it to be more mysterious and like just kind of to show like that she's hiding her identity and her past and she's just not showing her face. So most of the shots would be like, if you had close-ups, the close-ups would be on her boxing gloves, her putting her bandages on, and like her walking towards the ring. We actually had this high angle shot that was a flashback on her past of her opening when she was younger, her younger self opening a box, and in that box she had like a photo of her father, a necklace her father gave her, just memories, like past, like objects that meant a lot to her, personal things. And we had the high angle of her sitting down on the floor opening the box. It just shows how little she feels, like she's little in this world and she just feels trapped there, trapped in her memories and her past, and trapped in like her father, like she misses her father and it's just haunting her. And then another one we have is in the present, is where we have a pan of the female boxer from her back. She has like a hoodie on, so just to show her face. It's a pan from the back, like bringing the camera out to the window, so panning it towards the window, showing her present self to her younger self, so that reveals to the audience that that is her, that we are letting them know that the main character that we are showing the boxer, that the younger character is seeing, that is the main boxer who's present right now. And then we have a point of view of the mother, like a flashback of the mother, so all we see is like the mother's face, and that kind of puts the audience in that character's shoes, letting them feel like how it's like as if they're seeing that mother screaming at them. Makes them feel more emotional towards the character. To reveal the character's identity, her face, in the end, we actually had a close-up on her eyes, and then a tracking shot that just pulls out, like goes backwards and just reveals her face. And it's also a reaction shot because it just shows how determined she is in boxing and how she, like the determination she has and the passion she has for boxing. At the same time, most of the action films I've analyzed, they start to build up the tension, and we start building up the tension with the amount of shots. So first it's really slow, we just have a few shots of her putting her bandages on, the boxer putting her bandages on, and then suddenly you start to get those flashbacks building up. So first flashback, then a flashback after, and again, it keeps building up, coming faster and faster until the title Black Heaven appears. In Southpaw, when I analyzed that, they didn't have any tension building up. They were in one setting and they were only showing like him getting prepared, while we actually have her getting prepared but also going towards the boxing match, walking there, plus flashbacks. While Saving Private Ryan actually just has it's all the same location, and it builds up the tension by showing you first they're in a boat and then they get off the boat because there's a bomb and they start like running around fighting and there's a war going on. And so that's more similar to Saving Private Ryan. For editing, we didn't really go against any we didn't go against it. We actually had continuity editing, which is a dominant style in the film industry, and it's putting shots after each other, making the cuts more invisible, so then the film itself in the end, like overall, it looks really smooth. This is achieved by using editing techniques such as match on action, reaction shot, and long take. And then a reaction shot of the mother screaming to her daughter, which is also kind of a point of view shot. Also, we had a few long takes. For example, one of them is kind of an establishing shot of the gym itself, showing the boxing ring. We also use elliptical editing for one part, when the boxer is getting ready and then suddenly she's walking towards the ring. And so we didn't go against the convention. Mise en scene. We had non-verbal and verbal communication. And so non-verbal communication was the visuals we showed throughout the film opening, and verbal communication would be the dialogue plus the narration. And for the setting, we actually had 2 locations. One of the locations was the boxing ring that you see a lot, loads of shots that we captured there. And those that setting was to show that she was a boxer, so it lets the audience know that that's her passion, that's her hobby, that's what she does. While the other location was actually her childhood house, so where she lived with her mother. And we tried our best to find a place where the house wouldn't be too high class, because we wanted to show that they came from a low income, they had low income, and we wanted to try to make it as realistic as possible. And I think it actually worked out really well. And for the boxing gym, Southpaw actually starts the film opening in a locker room at the gym, where like at a boxing ring location, where the main character starts getting ready by putting like his boxing gloves on, etc. And that's what we did for our film opening. And for props, we used stuff like boxing gloves, a necklace to represent her past, a box of memories I mentioned before, which has her personal items, and that means a lot to her, so it's really personal. And for the mother, she had a beer bottle and cigarettes, so we wanted to show how addicted she was and how reckless she was, and she never really paid attention to anyone but herself. For costumes for boxer, 4 costumes, the main character, her present self, was wearing boxing clothing, so anything suitable for something physical like any sports. And she had her bandages on, her boxing gloves, and a boxing hoodie, which was kind of like her identity kind of outfit, something she'd want to wear. And for her child self, we just had something simple like a shirt and regular basic clothing with this red headband on that meant something to her, like she tried to look good and everything, while her mother actually really had reckless clothes on, so she didn't really care what she wore, she just put anything on. For lighting, I think lighting was something really hard to tackle, but I think we did it well in the end. After days and days of experimenting and just trying again with the lighting, we actually used studio light, and we tried to just go with what we had, since transporting lighting equipment was really hard, since it was very heavy, and we had 2 locations and it was school equipment. So we used studio light, and at the gym there were really good lights. For like the lights they had at the gym was made for boxing rings, so it was a really good spotlight, and it really created high quality videos. And at the same time, there's this one shot of the girl, like her present, like her younger self at the window and her present self next to her, and we take a pan and we just show at the window how her silhouette appears. And that was actually an accident, we didn't really mean for that, but it still came out really well and it looks amazing. And for colors, we actually only used 1 filter in the flashback of her childhood, and that was because we felt like the quality of the film wasn't really well, and so putting the filters over it made it so much better. And so we followed conventions because we didn't go against it. We had lighting, we had everything that like an actual film would have in. For gender representation, most action films the main character, protagonist, actually is a male. Well, we have a female, so we went against the film convention, and most females in action films are either like a sidekick or a princess needing help, and they need saving and they're weak. And in our film opening is different. Our film opening has a female character who actually grows up alone, who grows up strong, and she goes through her past. She saves herself. She doesn't need anyone to save her. And we're trying to send a message to females, and not just females, but it could also be males, to like anyone who's struggling. You don't really need to be saved. You don't need to have a hero, and that you can always grow to be your own person. You can always grow to be better, and you can go through what's happening with you, like the hard times. You can still grow up to be an amazing person, and whatever you're going through, it's always going to be okay in the end, because you can figure everything out. So